In today's video, we're talking about your to-do list for your final walkthrough, right? So this is a part of our Landlord series in our Landlord Corner. My name is Abraham Walker with Ask A Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent. If you like our videos, if you learn something from the videos, please like it, subscribe to it, comment down below, or share it with a friend. Okay, so let's get into this. We're at the ending stages of our rental marketing system, right? So we already have a tenant that has submitted an application. They've already been approved through your rigorous standards. They've already submitted, they've already provided their security, not their security deposit, but their first month's rent, pay the application fee. They're good to go. Now we're at that final walkthrough, right? A few things about the final walkthrough before we get into the to-do list. The final walkthrough, if you're going to do this like a pro, it should happen on the day the lease begins, okay? The day the lease begins. Why? The main reason is the final walkthrough should be an accurate representation of the property that they're going to receive. When are they going to receive the property? The day the lease begins, right? That's the day their insurance coverage begins on the property. That's the day that your liability sort of decreases in a sense for the property. So that is when we want to conduct the final walkthrough. Now, let's get into the our to-do list. Okay, so this first item on the to-do list, it should be done before we get to this stage, and there really wasn't a place in this series, if you've been watching this series on our DIY landlords, where we should put this, right? And so this is where you're going to really look at the utilities, right? Yeah, there we go. Utilities, right? So we want to transfer the utilities to the tenant. This should happen before the final walkthrough, right? So this is going to happen before the final walkthrough. So right after you accept their application and you have the lease signing, right? That is when you really want to start to kind of time when you're going to turn the utilities off. You want to explain the whole process to them, right? So I'm in Northern Virginia. Fairfax County has an interesting system for some of the utility companies that we'll get into in another video. But yeah, so the utilities, right? The next thing on your to-do list is going to be paperwork. Now, what paperwork are you providing them? You're actually going to provide them with the final walkthrough checklist, right? And so this is a final walkthrough where the tenant is going to do a visual inspection, or really an inspection of the property themselves. And then they're going to say, what is wrong with the property? What's the current condition of the property? They're supposed to turn that back into you 5 days, right? 5 days from the day the lease begins, or the day the final walkthrough is conducted. The third item on the to-do list is, we call it show and tell, right? Show and tell. What you're going to do is you're actually going to walk through the property and you're going to show the tenant how to use the property. You're going to one of the main things you want to make sure you show them, especially living in Northern Virginia, is how to turn off the water, right? There's probably a stipulation in your lease that the water has to be turned off for the outside spigots. It has to be turned off when temperatures drop below a certain temperature. If you don't explain how to turn that water off, chances are it won't get turned off, okay? So show and tell. So you want to show them everything. Show them how everything works, right? Show them how to change the filters in the AC system, right? Anything that you want them to change, and you know it's about the upkeep of the property, you want to let them know at the show and tell experience. The next thing you want to talk to them about is the trash and recycle. What is the schedule for the trash and recycle? When is it to be taken out? What is if it's in an HOA or a condominium association and there's no dumpster, where should the trash cans be stored in the property? Should it be, so I live in Kingstowne. In Kingstowne, you can't put your trash can in front of the garage, right? In the front of the property. And so you'll get a notice because of that violation. And if you get too many notices, you may get a penalty, right? And so you want to make sure that you're very clear with the tenant on what their responsibilities are, when the trash is to be taken out, when the recycling is to be taken out, what's the earliest the recycling or trash can be put outside, right? Because if you're in a very strict HOA or condominium association, they may have restrictions on time and you can get a penalty for that, right? So the next mailbox keys. Where's the mail distributed? Does the mail come to the door? Is there a mailbox? What is the mailbox number? Which key does the tenant have? How many keys does the tenant get to have with the this mailbox? You want to explain this to them at the final walkthrough. Parking is number 6. Right? What parking spot is yours? What parking spot isn't yours? What is the process for visitors, right? Is there visitor parking? Is it only off-street parking? Is it only on-street parking? If it's a condominium and a high-rise, what's the process of parking, right? Anything that has to do with parking, you want to explain this to them. So KGS actually stands for keys, garage openers, and storage spaces. You want to explain to the tenant all of the keys. If you're one of those individuals who doesn't have the same key for all the locks, then this may be a long process. Whatever it is, you want to explain how all the keys work. And you want to explain if one of the keys cannot be copied, right? If you have one of those fancy locks that doesn't allow individuals to copy keys, you want to explain that to the tenant in case they lose the key. If there is a fee for losing a key, you want to explain that to your tenant. For garage door openers, right? So how many garage door openers do they receive? If you have one of those little keypads outside your garage, you want to explain that to them. If they want to reset the keypad in case they're security geeks, right? You want to make sure that you explain that process to them. And last, if it's in the condominium association or if storage space comes with the property, how do they access that storage space? What is the process for it? HOAs and COAs is next. So if your property is in a homeowners association and it comes with amenities that you have to sign up for, like I said, I'm in Kingstowne. In Kingstowne, we have 2 pools, we have 2 gyms, we have multiple tennis courts, we have volleyball court. There's a lot of amenities, right? But you have to sign up to get access to some of those amenities. You want to talk to your tenant about the process for signing up for those amenities. You also want to maybe have the website that they would go sign up for if it's a website or if it's a business center. Whatever that process is, you want to walk the tenant through that process for either the HOA or the condominium association. And if your property is located in one of those developments that tow the property, tow your car, if you're not registered, please tell the tenant that in advance. It doesn't make any sense to provide the tow truck company with any money because of this simple oversight. So this is why we put this list together so you can create a better quality experience for your tenants. The last thing you want to do is you want to get a copy of the renter's insurance, right? This is already something that was stated in your, that's most likely in your lease, right? It should be in your lease that the tenant has to get renter's insurance, right? And so you want to get a copy of this renter's insurance at this time. Right? So this is everything you need to know. Well, this is not everything you need to know, but this is the final walk through to-do list. Maybe you have something that I should add on this list. If you do, comment down below, right? And let me know what your thoughts on this list. Or you can shoot me an email to abraham@askawalker.com or call or text me 703-539-2053. If you like this video, please let me know or share it with a friend or comment down below. I will see you on the next video. Peace.